Okay, the first thing I'm doing here is marking the rough center of his arm so that whenever I lay the stencil, I know it's pretty centered. Pretty much just turning purple to black right here, remembering to do my stretching and not wipe away my stencil, working my way from bottom to top. I'm doing this whole tattoo pretty much with a tight 7 liner. I switched to a round 9 liner for the lower lettering part, but almost everything else is done with a tight 7 round. Now I'm falling back and cleaning up any lines that were a little bit lighter than I liked and not solid. Moving right along into the shading, doing whipping with my 7 tight liner. Definitely at a lower speed than what I was lining with, so you get smoother shading. cleanup. This one is all done. On to the next one. Again, marking my center restoration mark so that when I go to lay the stencil, the tattoo is centered on his arm. And this one has a small cover up, so I'm using the feathers of the arrow to cover up the small little spade that was underneath, making sure that it covers right where I want it to. Bottom of the arrow was a little off, so I decided to redraw it so that it is straight on his arm whenever I go to tattoo it. So I'm doing a little bit of drawing before I actually tattoo. Jump right back into lining on this one. Again, bottom to top. I did a whole video on lining a couple days ago. It was my first instructional video on the foundations of lining and what lines mean, and I explained in that one and gave an example using mountains. During that, I explained that I do quite a few mountain tattoos, so here's an example of a couple that I did and make money off of. They're bread and butter for me, and I do them all the time. In my line work video, I explained the different line weights that I use, but pretty much this whole tattoo is done in one line weight, and so there's not a lot of different mountains falling back or different depths or anything. They're kind of all one depth. But again, I do a lot of mountain tattoos, and here's just a couple of examples of some of the ones I've done. If you haven't watched my line video, feel free to go back and watch it. There's a lot of good explanation in it. Give it a like. Leave it in the comments if you have any questions about it also. But this being all one line weight is probably closest to traditional style tattoo, as traditional style tattoos only usually have one line weight. line worked on, back again to the whip shading. And I'm not using a full black for any of this. I'm using more of a wash so that it doesn't really compete with any of the line work, get too dark of a composition overall. I charged $180 each for these, plus they both tipped, so in less than 2 hours I made a little over $400. And here it is all finished, second one down, and how they look at the end. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to see more stuff like this and learn how to make money yourself.